There's something about competing that can't be replicated. When you step onto the mats, it's just you and your opponent out there. There is an ongoing debate. On one side, people argue that competitions are necessary for improvement and for being awarded your next belt. On the other side, you have people who argue that competing isn't essential. So, what is the truth? How essential are competitions for BJJ practitioners? And is competing in BJJ really worth it? In today's video, I will go over some pros and cons of competing in BJJ, share some tips that I've used to overcome my fear of competing in BJJ, and ultimately show you that competing is a necessary part of doing BJJ. First, we'll discuss some of the cons of competing. Some people want to learn self-defense, some people just want an extra form of cardio, and some people even see BJJ as a time to hang out with their friends. However, once you start to compete, whatever the intensity that you normally train at, you will find that the intensity and stress of competition is on a whole other level. This means you'll have to start taking training more seriously. You have to start training harder, more often, and start cutting things out that can hinder your training. All of this can make BJJ less fun. A lot of people refer to BJJ as a rich man's sport. That's because Jiu-Jitsu, compared to other kinds of extracurricular activities, is expensive. You have to buy multiple gis, no-gi rash guards, pay for seminars, not to mention your monthly memberships. Well, competing in BJJ costs even more. Unless you have lots of sponsorships, and those are difficult to get, most competitors have to pay their own way. Just to register for a competition averages $100. Imagine if you have a tournament every month. You also have to pay for travel and accommodations because a lot of tournaments might not be local. And then if you have to travel to compete, then obviously that's going to cost a lot of time away from your family. It would definitely be cheaper to skip the competition and invest that money in some other ways. When you amp up your training to compete, that means you train a lot harder and more often. You can be more prone to injuring yourself. And during the actual tournament, everyone is putting in all their effort and going as hard as they can. So there's a higher risk of getting injured during your matches. Another huge downside to competing is that losing sucks. You might feel that all the hard work you put into the competition was for nothing. Getting demolished while competing in front of your coach and teammates can be demoralizing and embarrassing. In a way, you're essentially paying a lot of money to literally get your ass kicked in a crowded gymnasium with people screaming at you. Losing in general can be damaging to your ego, and you might start losing faith in yourself and your abilities. Overall, competing can be very stressful. But on the flip side, what would happen if you did decide to compete? Competing in BJJ is a good way to test your skills. During a competition, you will find yourself going up against many different people with different styles. This is a great opportunity to see where your skills and ability really measure up. Often, instructors tell students to be careful and to not go 100% in training. But the competition is where you can use all of your skills, abilities, and athleticism to the fullest extent. No need to hold back because your opponent won't hold back for you. During a competition, you will be put in situations where you will be tested. Anyone that's ever been thrown hard into the mat or caught in a submission can attest to that. And I would say that the truest measure of a person's jiu-jitsu does not occur when they are winning, but when that person is able to endure bad positions or situations and manage to find a way out. Competing can help you develop the ability to persevere and not give up when it really counts. Before, we mentioned how competing can take the fun out of BJJ. This may seem to be the case looking outside in, but once you get a few matches under your belt and start to find your groove, you may just find yourself enjoying the experience. The energy of the crowd and your nervousness turning into excitement, being able to go out onto the mat and give it your all is a very freeing feeling. Win or lose, if you know you gave it your all, I'm sure you won't have any regrets. There's lots to enjoy about the competition experience as well. Hanging out with your friends at the tournament, the jokes, grabbing food and acai after making weight, seeing old friends, and many funny moments and crazy stories will be had. Competing alongside your friends and teammates is a great bonding experience that will deepen those relationships. I've learned so many lessons over the years, and even during this tournament, it's a very humbling experience. No matter what level you reach in your jiu-jitsu, competing is an integral part of this martial art because it keeps you honest. I've seen so many athletes achieve a certain rank or skill and then never progress from there. As an instructor, I understand that everyone has different life circumstances that will affect whether or not they can compete. But I have a hard rule that if you're young, you have no choice but to compete. Go out there, push your limits, and do your best. It seems simple. To me, it's simple. It's basic. It makes sense. Go compete. Worry about the skill. Get the skill, guys. Once you get out there, you shake hands, you just realize that it's jiu-jitsu. You're just doing jiu-jitsu in a different setting, but you're still using the same moves, you're still doing the same things. You got to go through that muck and that grind because, once you become a coach or an instructor one day, possibly one day, or even just a higher belt, you want to have some experience so you can help the younger generation. You want that experience of going through the competition and getting through the nerves and the being scared and, you know, anxiety. You want to have that experience so that you can help the other, you know, younger students coming up get that experience while you're young. You don't want to wait to get that experience when you're older. Try to get that experience while you're young. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my next video on starting BJJ as a new person, as a beginner, a new guy. My new guys out there.